Kaboom! Guess who stepped in the room? It's Cal, hailing from the Shallon Owl. If you need a killer beat on the MIC with the SSWW to the VVV going downtown. Let me see if we all in together now. Make it more better now. Anyway, y'all do not remember that, but that's okay. I do. That's what I'm here for. It is I, your 20th century Black music griot, Kim Brown. I also host a little program called Burn It Down with Kim Brown, the safe place where we set oppression ablaze. And I'm so excited, so very happy and honored and privileged that a handful of you have come to kick it with me on this Good Friday evening or afternoon, wherever in the world you may be, or nighttime. As it is with our friends in the UK, it's very dark there. Here in the Maryland, DC area, it is quite lovely. Shout out to all our folks on the West Coast, West Side, holding us down. You guys, we got a good show in store for you today. Obviously, very seriously on the agenda has to do with the recently released autopsy report surrounding the assassination of Manuel Tehran, also known as Tortuguita, the Atlanta forest defender who was murdered by Georgia police in a raid on the forest earlier this year. And despite police changing their story not once, not twice, at least three times, we can tell this news is hitting the mainstream media with a thud. And it's only independent outlets like this one, like BPM, like Status Quo, like others that are even bothering to amplify this overt political assassination. That's the only thing I can really call what happened to Tortuguita there in the Atlanta forest. We're going to get into that in just a little bit. I'm going to take a little detour towards the end and ask what's going on with y'all girl Tiffany Haddish. What is going on with Tiffany Haddish? Why did I return to Twitter and Tiffany Haddish was over trending? I said, what the fuck is going on? But because this is a Black woman centered channel and a Black woman led channel, I mean, I think it's quite appropriate to offer and try to extend some accountability towards Tiffany Haddish and her seemingly wayward ways. We're going to get into that in a little bit because I don't want to be like, I only talk about Black women as victims here or as survivors or whatever. When sisters are wrong, it's okay. We could call out the sisters when they are incorrect. And maybe we need to do that with Sister Tiffany later on in the program. What else do I have in store for y'all today? Not a lot, to be perfectly honest, guys. As spring begins to sprung, I start to look outside. I like to go outside and play. So maybe we'll take a break from the program coming up sometime this spring or summer. Maybe I'll kick it to you guys to ask. not ask y'all permission per se, because I think you guys have recognized what I've been doing over here, what we collectively, me, Will, and Molly, and prior to Will with Brother Tunde, we've been at this for a little while, guys. We've got a lot of shit on the channel, and we take little breaks, but we haven't taken like a break. So maybe one of those is coming up later this spring, summer. We'll figure that out, and I'll kick it to you guys to see what y'all think about the shit. But anyway, hold on. Let me say what's up to everybody. First of all, let me big up to my mods. What up to Courtney and Latif? Thank you guys for not only doing what you do on the channel, but for supporting the channel in the ways that you do. Courtney sent her tithes and offerings, and I was so appreciative, Courtney, because I know how much you have on your plate, Court, and the fact that you take the time and the material support as well to support this channel. It means a lot. Latif, same thing. You guys go above and beyond. So I just want to take a moment to acknowledge my amazing mods, Latif and Courtney. Big up to Chuck Diesel too, who comes through with the thing. And of course, the ever-present Fire Fam. There go my niece Valley Girls. I see Valley Girls are here. There go my brother 40J Blaze, Dee Dee. Hello, Northern Witch. There go Damien, Stone and Lona, Holly. Thank you so much. John, good to see you in here. Thank you so much for making the time. What else? Wendy! Hello, Renee! Sorry, Renee. Renee, I'm coming back to New York, Renee. And Renee, you will rue the day that you wanted to hang out with me. You will. I will come back to New York. I will make you regret wanting to hang out with me, girl. Because I'm gonna give you exactly what you want. You want to kick it, girl? We gonna kick it. We gonna kick it. Big up to Zenzi Bell as well. Zenzi extended out some New York hospitality, and Zenzi says she has a car. I said, oh shit, there y'all go. Who is this? I'm not going to even look. I'm gonna guess it's Latif. Shout out to Rose Salba. I knew it was Latif. Thank you, Latif. Thank you so much for your Cash App support. Sorry, shout out to Rose Salba. Thank you, Rose Salba, for your Cash App support as well. I definitely appreciate it. You guys are the absolute best. So let me go ahead and get started. And let me start really. I'm gonna. Now I know everybody here may follow astrology. Maybe nobody follows astrology. I don't know. What's up, Sweary Furry? But I do follow astrology, and Mercury has gone into retrograde, so you guys can take that with a grain of salt. You can take that however you want. Peace, Silberg. What's going on with you? All right, but as the astrological signs go, I am a Leo. Okay, I don't know what else to say after that. I mean, I'm a Leo. That's just what it is. Now, sometimes that Leo flame can be very high. I try to keep mine at a simmer because Leos, as some of y'all may or may not know, can be a lot. We can absolutely be a lot. So I try to keep my Leo flame turned down to a simmer, not to a big flame, because then it'd be way too much for everybody. But one thing you should know about Leos, and me specifically as a Leo, I don't like to be wrong. Picture that. Wrong? I don't even know what that is. What you mean be wrong? What the fuck I be wrong about? I'm sure I'll be wrong about a lot of things. But I gotta admit to something, you guys. Well, get the shit ready. So you guys know he on this program, a few weeks ago, I had a show. I think I called it "Tell Me It's White Folks Without Telling Me It's White Folks." Okay, and one of the examples of telling me it's white folks without telling me it's white folks I used was the example of a white man here in Baltimore County, Maryland, who shot two cops, himself very much apprehended alive, not shot at all. And it's like, wow, it's amazing how that happens. Tell me it's white folks without telling me it's white folks. The other example I used for tell me it's white folks without telling me it's white folks was the example of the 6-year-old first grader in Newport News, Virginia, whom shot his teacher, brought a gun to school, shot his first grade teacher, and there had been no charges pressed against not only the child, but none against the parents. And when more details about this child's behavior in school came out, primarily due to the facts revealed by the teacher, 26-year-old Abigail Zorner, who was shot in the chest, I believe, and shot in the hand or the arm. When her attorney and she began making the rounds on national media outlets, they began to reveal more details about this child's behavior. And I said, wow, what? I said this kid was choking out other teachers and trying to beat students with a belt and removed from class and then reinstated in class. And then his parents got to sit in school with him all day. I said, I do not know any black child that this level of grace and country would have been given to at all. I said, this had to be a white kid, right? Or from a white family or something, right? So the recent news is that the child's mother, the 6-year-old mother, she herself only 25-year-old Deja Taylor, was criminally indicted in a Newport News courtroom, I suppose by a grand jury. And she made her first court appearance. And this is the first time that we have seen anyone from this child's family. And I was watching with bated breath. I said, what's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? Because at first when I heard the name, I said, they gotta be black people. I don't know no white people named Deja. But then I thought about it. I said, well, she's 25. I mean, there's white Keishas. There's plenty white. I don't know about plenty, but there is white Keishas out here. I said that to say it would not be beyond the scope of possibility for a 25-year-old white woman in Virginia to be named Deja, right? That's not an impossibility at all. But we had the camera footage available, and actually, I want us to kick this to 13 News now. Let us check out the package and see the big reveal. Will, if you could, roll the tape, please.
We're looking forward to working, as Ed said before, collaboratively with the Commonwealth Attorney's Office to see if we can resolve the charges.
Deja Taylor made her first court appearance after a grand jury indicted her on a felony child neglect charge and a misdemeanor count of recklessly leaving a firearm that endangers a child. Taylor had no comment coming in and out of the Newport News courthouse.
6-year-old.
I don't have to cooperate with NBC.
But her attorney, James Ellenson, did.
And she had a very severe miscarriage. I guess it's ectopic pregnancy miscarriage.
Ellenson says that resulted in postpartum depression. He says it's a large factor in a number of events that led up to the January 6th shooting. Ellison says Taylor, the grandfather, and the boy's father would sit in class with the boy during the school year, but that stopped after the school's Christmas break.
The decision makers at Rich Neck Elementary decided it was okay for the child to attend classes without either the mom or the grandfather. And on occasion, the father.
Ellenson says he plans to subpoena a number of people from Rich Neck, and when it comes to an outcome,
something that's fair, something that's just. I don't think jail's the right answer.
Ellison also told us that the boy has not been home since the shooting in January. He also says he and the family had plans to have the boy live with his grandfather, but that decision is delayed. We're live in Newport News. I'm Casey Baylor for 13 News Now.
Wow. Still, to me, a lot of unanswered questions, but let me address the elephant in the room. Deja Taylor does not appear to be a white woman. She definitely appears to be a woman of color at minimum. Definitely. Look, here my dumb ass go. I'm scrutinizing her features. I'm like, is that a black nose? So stupid. I was trying to rationalize it in a way that I would still be correct. And I am not correct. I was totally wrong about the race of this family and the reason behind some of the treatment. And I guess over accommodate. I'm not even sure what to say now because I'm befuddled, right? Because the demographics didn't match up to what I thought they were. I will admit it. Now I'm fucked up. Now the lack of empathy, perhaps, that I might have had for if it was white folks. Now I have more empathy, and that's fucked up of me to say, right? But it's a real feeling. I'm trying to be transparent with you guys because I don't like that. I don't like that I am able to, dispense my empathy depending on the demographic of the persons or people involved. That's not right. I shouldn't do that. It should not be that way. It's maybe I need to deprogram and reprogram myself to have more empathy for others, for everybody. But I don't know if I'm capable of that. Well, I'm working on it though. I'm gonna work on the shit. But I will say this. I'm at a bit of a conundrum. I agree with Miss Taylor's lawyer that I do not think that Miss Taylor should be facing jail time behind this. I do think it's appropriate that she was charged with something because at the end of the day, it was allegedly her firearm that her 6-year-old was able to get their hands on. And the child not only critically injured his teacher in the classroom, it very easily could have been all kinds of a mass shooting with and children could have been also been victims of this. So I agree that something needed to happen to the parents of this child who recklessly allowed this gun to be taken into a school setting and someone be critically injured. So I agree with that. I'm curious as to the level of support that Miss Taylor received after what her attorney described as a difficult miscarriage. An ectopic pregnancy, you guys know what that is. For those who don't, the ectopic pregnancy is when the baby begins to develop near the fallopian tubes or not centered in the uterus or not in the right place. Those can be fatal. I mean, I can only imagine what miscarrying an ectopic pregnancy must be like. So I can have empathy for her in that regard. But it makes me more critical of the system overall because it does not appear as though there were wraparound services available for not only Miss Taylor, but her child. And what's up with this kid? Like the kid, I'm I'm sorry, y'all. And this is the privilege that I have. Maybe it's not a privilege. Maybe when I'm 90, I won't be calling it a privilege. But the privilege that I have of being child free, because it's very easy for me to armchair quarterback parenting, right? I'm like, oh, why didn't the parents just do da 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 da? But I can't imagine my 6 year old going to school, choking out a teacher, whipping other students with a belt, bullying kindergartners, cussing out the janitors, cussing out the guidance counselors, and me and my partner, the child's father, sitting in school with the kid. Something is going on at home with the child. Like something is the matter that this child comes to school with this kind of behavior. And I know it's very easy, and society usually points the fingers at and punishes overwhelmingly the mothers more so than the fathers in these kinds of situations. Wow, what was the mother doing? How come she wasn't doing XYZ? Well, maybe we know now why this child's behavior was a bit out of control, because the mother was dealing with a health issue. So, what kind of support did she have to kind of help out with this kid? Well, it did sound as though the grandfather and the father were trying to step up for the kid. But again, this child was experiencing behavioral and emotional issues that clearly their family was not able to fully deal with. So to bring a gun into the situation, and again, I don't know what their home situation was. I don't know if dad was living with mom and son. I don't know. I don't know why she brought a gun around this seemingly volatile 6 year old, and obviously did not do a good job of securing it because the kid brought the shit to fucking school and shot somebody, right? So I just wanted to say this real quick. I was wrong about the race of the family regarding the 6 year old. The level of protection and duration of time before any sort of criminal action was taken, I thought had whiteness written all over it. I misread the situation. I was wrong in that way. You must know, as a Leo, it is very hard for me to sit up here and say this because I was very tempted to be like, oh, I didn't even, there was an update. I didn't even see the shit. What happened? You know what I'm saying? I don't even know what happened. What happened? You know what I'm saying? But no, I see it. I said, ain't this about a bitch? Now I gotta go on here and tell my people. Or maybe y'all seen the shit and y'all was waiting to see if I was going to come on here and say something. I know I did. I'll admit when I'm wrong. But I definitely don't think that jail is the solution here. And my question is this for the reporter who was covering that story. She said that the child has not been home since the shooting. Where is the child? Where are they? I think initially the child was taken to some sort of juvenile facility. But that was months ago. That was after this happened, which I think that what was back in January. What is this? April? January, February? Surely the kid can't still be there. But who knows? So in this case, those are the only criminal charges that have been filed against the mother. Abigail's Warner, the teacher who was injured, has filed a lawsuit against the Newport News School District, and I think some other institutions as well. We will keep an eye on this. Hopefully, again, Miss Taylor won't be sentenced to jail, but something does need to happen here because a 6 year old school shooter cannot go unpunished. And again, thankfully, I will say this: I am appreciative that we have started to see at least a small trend of parents of school shooters be charged for negligence in leaving access to firearms available for the kids. The teenager who shot and killed at there's so many, it's hard to keep track, but this was in Michigan, outside of Detroit. I can't remember if it was where it was, but it was in Michigan, and the kid's name is Ethan Crumbly, and his parents were also charged criminally to the point that they didn't even give them bail. I think they still in fucking jail, and they haven't even had the trial yet. But they were charged in purchasing the gun that inevitably killed the classmates of their son, Ethan Crumbly. So I do think that there needs to be parental accountability. If we're still doing criminal injustice, then within criminal injustice we're going to do, and parents of these kids need to face some sort of of something. I mean, again, Jail, I don't know, but you can't just be leaving guns around or buying guns for kids. They take these guns, kill or injure people, and everybody's just what, like Second Amendment freedom? Fuck that. Make these parents feel some sort of accountability, either criminally or civilly. Take one or the other. But a lot of people don't have money, so I guess you got to put people in jail, which I don't think is the answer, but something has to fucking happen. So anyway, I just wanted to admit to you guys that I'm not too proud. I'm not too proud. I'm a little proud. I'm not too proud to admit that I was wrong. So yes, I had to eat some crow on today, and we will still keep an eye on the story pertaining to Deja Taylor and her son. Hopefully, they'll have a positive outcome there. Let me take a quick break. Quick break. Am I shiny? Fuck it. Who cares? Quick break. So thank you guys so much for being here. Give the video a like, a thumbs up if you don't mind. Subscribe to the channel, please and thank you. We appreciate it. Guys, I'm trying to work on myself, and at least I'm trying to be honest now. It I'm sorry, I'm laughing at myself because I know what it sounds like. I know what it sounds like. Like, for example, like when racists are honest, when they say they don't like black people, I'm like, thank you. Thank you. See, now there's no ambiguity. Now I don't have to wonder. You know what I'm saying? And you guys know I don't dislike white folks. I'm quite fond of white folks. I like white folks quite a bit. The good white folks, that is. But I'm black in America. So I know that, for example, what happened to 16-year-old Ralph Yarl in Kansas City, where this child was just randomly shot, basically for being black and standing on the porch of a white man. And then after being shot, the kid tried to get help from 3 different neighbors, and nobody would fucking help him. And the last person that did help him told him to put his hands up, right, as he's bleeding from being shot in the fucking head. Like, that's the shit I'm talking about. Like, it is the way that empathy is meted out depending on your demographic, depending on your race, class, and gender, depends on the level of empathy that you will get. And me sort of being towards those bottom rungs, you know what I'm saying, black, woman, and disabled. I know whatever, I'm not meddling at the sympathy Olympics here in mainstream America. I tend to do a reverse thing. I mean, it doesn't work the same. And I really don't even feel good doing it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to withhold my sympathy from white folks. I don't. But I know that there's a lot of white folks who would absolutely withhold their sympathy from me just based off the fact that I'm black. And I try to do that in the reverse sometimes, but it doesn't always work because I know all white folks ain't bad out here. I do think all rich folks are bad, but not all whites. All rich, yes. All whites, no, no, no. So I struggle with that. I will confess. I'm working on that. I'm just here to be honest. Peace, Desiree. Thank you for being here, and I appreciate you guys understanding because I'm honestly not intentionally trying to be an asshole. I mean, I do asshole very well unintentionally. It is part of my default setting, but I don't try to be a dickhead on purpose. I honestly, anyway. Thank y'all for letting me talk through that. Give the video a like and a thumbs up. Follow us places around the internet, y'all. BIDWKB. Big up to Will and Molly doing the thing in the back. So let's get to the serious business at hand here, because as you guys know, on this platform, I have been covering Stop Cop City for some time. We have a little playlist on the channel that you can go check out some of our older interviews going back a year and some change. Like, this is not a new story to me, and I appreciate being in camaraderie ship with Kamau Franklin, because having proximity to Kamau, and Kamau obviously having proximity to this movement, has really given me a really impressive perspective and an inside look, to be perfectly honest, about what's going on in Atlanta pertaining to the organizing to stop Cop City. So it's bad enough that the Georgia police have been operating so heavy-handedly on the protesters there trying to defend the Atlanta forest. But when they murdered Tortuguita, when they murdered Manuel Tehran, the level of propaganda that was released by the cops and endorsed and co-signed and never challenged by mainstream media. It's been something to witness and something to behold. So, what the story is, I think this came out, today's Friday, it came out either Wednesday or Thursday. The autopsy report came out pertaining to Tortuguita's murder, and it found that he was shot more than 57 times. Now, the family had already done a independent autopsy on the body. So they were aware that Tortuguita had been shot a lot of times, but I don't think the number 57 had been quite revealed. But as horrific as that fact of information is, what was the most telling piece about the autopsy is that there was no gunshot residue found on Tortuguita's hands. And this is extremely important because the reason given by the police as to why they opened fire on Tortuguita is that they claimed that he shot first. That was their initial claim, okay? When this incident first happened, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, all those alphabet boys who showed up to the forest there, GBI, Georgia State Police, APD, whoever the fuck showed up, they claimed that they were fired upon by Tortuguita without provocation. That was their first version of the story. Turns out actually that the police, in fact, fired pepper balls into his tent, right? Basically forcing him to evacuate his tent where he was occupying, right? So that was the first lie. I mean, first of many, many lies. Also, a police officer was shot that day. Hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. So it was determined that they shot pepper balls into his tent. Okay. And the lack of scrutiny that this bullshit story done by the Georgia police has gotten from the mainstream media is truly galling. It is appalling. And it is revelatory in the ways that it shows that the media, you guys, they're not here to get the truth. No, they are here to spin tales and narratives on behalf of the police state. And I want to give you guys an example of this. And I know for those who are in Atlanta or in the Atlanta metro area, you know, as TV stations go, I know 11 Alive News I mean, none of them are reputable. As far as I can tell, neither is the Atlanta Journal Constitution. You know what I'm saying? The Atlanta Journal Constitution, as I'm sure you know, is part of the funding cobbled together with the Atlanta Police Foundation. So the Atlanta Journal Constitution actually has an incentive to spin narratives for police because they have a financial interest in building Cop City. Interesting. But I want you guys to check out this package from 11 Alive News and just pick out all the things that are wrong because there's a lot of things wrong with this package. And if this is an example, if this is an indicator as to the level of questioning that the police are getting in Atlanta surrounding the assassination, ultimately the political assassination of this young person, because this person was Tortuguita was taking a political stand by occupying the forest and saying no by his actions, by his presence, saying no to Cop City. And the police said, we are not going to stand for any anti-police opposition, so we will kill you. And that's exactly what happened. But look at how the media, especially in Atlanta, I'm certain that the national media is not doing much better of a job. But just check this out, you guys. It's something. So this is how this is being covered in Atlanta on the TV. Check it out.
We're going to dig a little bit deeper into those new autopsy reports that show a protester was shot nearly 30 times at the future site of the Atlanta Police and Fire Training Facility. That autopsy is raising some new questions tonight, so our very own Doug Richards went to the experts to get some clear answers for you.
The eye-openers in the autopsy report are the number of gunshot wounds Manuel Paez-Terán sustained and the absence of gunpowder on his hands. Tehran was inside a tent in the woods near the training center site when state troopers confronted the protester, and they said Tehran fired a shot. The autopsy shows the troopers' returning fire produced 57 gunshot wounds on Tehran's body. It also says the medical examiner found no gunpowder residue on Tehran's hand. Former prosecutor J. Tom Morgan says gunpowder residue would have been convincing evidence. Tehran had fired the gun that troopers said they found next to the protester's body. But the absence of gunpowder, he says, means next to nothing.
And as a prosecutor, I saw many instances that we absolutely knew that a gun had been fired, but there's no gunshot residue. Like I said, if you find it, yes, a hand did fire a gun. Without it, it's not that it did not.
The autopsy report concludes that Tehran's death was a homicide. It does not conclude whether there was any criminal act associated with it. In Northeast Atlanta, Doug Richards, 11 Alive News.
The fuck was Doug Richards' ass doing? Hold on. I thought we was about to dig into the autopsy report there. Doug Richards in 11 Live News. My man said at the onset, he said, you're going to go to the experts. This nigga went and asked a former prosecutor. Oh, I'm sorry. So someone else that's already a part of the system. But what is wild to me is that Doug Edwards, whatever. See, now I always forgetting niggas' names. But anyway, the reporter, why did you go ask a former prosecutor? Why didn't you go ask the police? Why didn't you go ask the Georgia State Police about the inconsistencies with the story that they released in the minutes, hours immediately following Tortuguita's assassination, and then with the story and the facts presented in this autopsy report? Because there's something called inconsistencies here. You know, journalists, like, you can go to the police and ask them to clear this shit up. Now they're going to tell you, no, they're not going to clear the shit up, but you need to go at least ask them and put it on the record. But instead, this person goes and talks to a former prosecutor who gives the most incredible bullshit answer I've ever heard. I'm sorry. So if there is evidence of gunshot residue on a hand, then that is convincing, overwhelming evidence. But the absence of gunshot residue, oh, that doesn't really mean anything. The fuck? What are you even saying? How can the presence of it mean everything and the absence of it mean nothing? Because it doesn't support the narrative. It does not support what the police try to put out there, that Tortuguita shot first. He did not fucking shoot, okay? Now, I'm not a forensic expert. But I told y'all I've watched Law and Order for 25 years. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but like, from my understanding, it is impossible to fire a gun unless you're wearing gloves. And they made no mention of Tortuguita having any gloves or anything like that. I'm certain if he had gloves, if he was wearing gloves when he allegedly shot, that is something that the police absolutely would have mentioned as a reason why there was no gunshot residue on his hands. But that's bullshit, and they know it. And they absolutely know it. So I'm assuming that the young person did not fire anything. I can only assume he didn't fire anything. I can only assume that the gun that they allegedly found near his person was planted there by police. The police officers who was allegedly injured by gunshots that day that they raided the forest, I can only assume the dumbass fucking police shot theyself, because that's not the first time, second, third, fifth time that kind of scenario has happened. These police are dumb as shit, and they are known for shooting they fucking selves. So whose bullets entered Tortuguita? I need names. I need agencies. I need rank. I need badge numbers. Who shot this kid? And for the officer who was allegedly shot, who shot him? Where'd the bullets come from? Where are the ballistics on that? This is a cover-up, you guys. It is a cover-up happening in plain sight of a political assassination of somebody who had the audacity to put their body out there and stand against the state, who is continuing their repression of Black folks and press and anti-police dissenters in Atlanta. This doesn't just happen in Atlanta, but it's happening in Atlanta right now. And I think this is something that we need to be paying attention to. Especially, I was glad to see Status Quo talking about this today. We on BPM talked about it Thursday. I'm hoping independent media is going to be the one driving the story, because I sincerely doubt that the mainstream is going to give this story the level that of storytelling, of fact checking, of holding the police accountable that it really deserves, right? And watching Atlanta media from the outside, I don't have no confidence unless it's the Atlanta Community Press Collective, the independent collective out there. Shout out to the Atlanta Community Press Collective. If it ain't them, I don't know who the fuck's going to ask the police these questions, because the regular media don't seem to be interested in doing it. It's like, oh, sprinkle some crack. Let's keep it fucking pushing. The cop said that he fired first. That must be the whole story. Tortuguita's death was ruled a homicide. A homicide. 57 bullets entered this kid. And how can I not think of Jalen Walker in the same frame, in the same breath? Jalen Walker, the young man in Akron, Ohio, who was shot 46 times by police. You guys, these overkill murders, these are not accidental. This is not a lack of training. This is not that. These types of murders, specifically of Black people, non-white people, Tortuguita, I believe, was Afro-Venezuelan, Black people. These kinds of overkill murders of Black people, these are sending messages to us. These are sending messages to the rest of us. In Atlanta, with the forest offenders being charged with domestic terrorism, the story that I brought you guys last week of the law student at the University of North Carolina who was precluded from attending classes because they were charged. They got caught up with these fucking dumb domestic terrorism charges in Atlanta while being present at a protest. We are tumbling down the hill of fascism, guys. Like fascism is running up on us like Usain Bolt, fast as shit. Okay, fast as shit. And I don't really know what we can do to not let this continue to snowball in the way that it is. Will, throw up that image if you could for me, please. So the people in Atlanta are not finished. If you thought they was done, they not done. Even though the construction machines are moving into the forest, they are starting to clear things, there is still actions out here that are planned. So these are the good folks. Obviously, the Atlanta Forest Defenders defend the Atlanta forest. They are continuing planning actions. And if you have some time or ability, they want to see you down in ATL. Shit. Sorry, I thought I had another picture of it. Coming up this summer, they have a number of actions planned. I even think they're doing some actions this weekend surrounding the Earth Day /420 celebrations. So if you happen to be in the Atlanta area, you should definitely check out some of this stuff doing by the Atlanta Forest Defenders. June 24th through July 1st of this year, it's the Weelaunee Summer. The Weelaunee Forest is where Cop City is planned to be built. So if you have the ability, which I do not, but you might, June 24th through July 1st, they are planning a week of actions there to continue to support the forest defenders, those who are still incarcerated, facing these domestic terrorism charges, and of course, in the memory of Tortuguita. And you guys, I think that, I don't know. I'm trying not to give the cops too much credit, but I feel as though when they attack and murdered a Black person who was an immigrant, who was Afro-Venezuelan, Venezuelan, who was non-binary, who was queer, you know, it almost seemed like they picked a target that that the fewest amount of people would care about, right? Because I'm telling you, if this had been some blonde, granola, crunchy white guy, you know what I'm saying? Even though he might have been an N-word lover, he still would have had the benefit of being white. You know what I mean? And that would have gotten, I think, a lot more attention on the situation. But because Tortuguita was who they were, I just don't feel as though people are upset. And I think that there's a lot of shit going on right now that I don't feel as though people are upset enough about. And it's not making me very optimistic. And I don't like that. I don't like not being I don't do toxic positivity, but I at least like to have some hope. And there's a lot of shit popping off right now. I'm not going to say hope less, dog, but my hope is less. My hope has been lessened by the shit that I'm witnessing. I'm very disturbed. There was a fucking story on NBC Nightly News last night. I had to turn the shit off. I told y'all I don't like seeing stories about endangered species because they're always framed in the way like, oh wow, the species that is in trouble. What can we do to help? Bitch, you can leave them the fuck alone. They did a story last night on the right whale and how the right whale has had its numbers go in such decline, and it's in the way it's reported, it's almost like a mystery. How did the right whale's numbers go down so far? Oh, was it whaling? Was it whales being struck by boats? Was it the amount of microplastics? Was it the rising temperature? Like, it's all human caused shit. Like, we don't need to speculate why the fucking whale isn't doing good. Okay, we know why the whale isn't doing good, but it's like, well, what can we do? What can be done? What needs to be done is not going to be fucking done. And that's what makes me want to throw things and yeah, get high. It just makes me want to roll weed. I just want to roll weed and watch The Simpsons, man. What the fuck am I supposed to do about all this shit? Anyway. All right, I'm sorry. I guess I'm just venting to you guys today. My bad. I guess I got a lot of shit on my mind. I'm just venting out here to y'all today. My bad. But anyway, so dealing with the Tortuguita situation again, please continue to support the Atlanta Solidarity Fund, the Atlanta Forest Defenders, Community Movement Builders, all of the organizations that are showing up and showing the fuck out. Because our folks are not done down there in ATL. Vesper, I love that Brother Vesper is engaged with this and following this and staying apprised of the actions. Because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take folks to show up. And if you're going to be one of those out of town agitators, be one. Be one. But just be aware, y'all. They are cracking down something serious. So the Atlanta Solidarity Fund is a place. I have not sent them a donation, but I will send them a donation because I expect more people to keep coming to Atlanta, to keep turning up and disrupt the construction of Cop City. And I expect the police to do what the fuck they've been doing, to show up, to violate people's constitutional and civil rights, violate people's human rights in the way that they did Tortuguita. Because what they're counting on not enough people giving a fuck. But we have to loud it up and tell them that, no, we care. And this shit is not going to be allowed to run. Stop there. Oh, okay, we're not doing bad. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for being here. But Baggy's barking. Hey, Big Teal. Hey, what's up, Franny France? What's up, Corey? Did I say Corey Miller as in C Miller as in C Murder? Is the C Murder joining us from behind the wall? That'd be cool. What other song did C Murder have besides Down for My Niggas? I'm sure he had several songs. But C Murder was a good one, though. Oh, that says Casey. Lord, I can't read. My bad, Casey. Anyway, what's up, Alicia? Oh, you can hear Baggy Frowny France. Bagheera's a thug out here. You guys, this dog. Bagheera she is 14 and 5 months April. So next month she'll be 14 and a half. And I'm telling you, if I let her run up on a dog, she would run up and still try to fight a dog. She's 100. She's 100. She is 100 in dog years, and she still is about that action. Or at least she thinks she is. If anyone here, and you will really impress me if you answer in the affirmative, but if anyone here has ever seen the Tenacious D movie, Tenacious D, Pick a Destiny. I told you guys I do not have sophisticated taste in film. I don't. But Tenacious D, I love Tenacious D, is Jack Black and Kyle Gass. You guys, if you're not familiar with Tenacious D and you kind of like rock music, you'd actually be really surprised at how good a singer Jack Black is. Like Jack Black can actually, he has actually a very good singing voice, and him and Kyle, they actually make good songs. I like Tenacious D. They don't tour very often on the East Coast. So I would really appreciate the chance to see. Anyway, they have a movie. It's called Tenacious D: The Pick of Destiny, and Tim Robbins is in the movie. Y'all know who Tim Robbins is, and he plays a I guess disabled villain where he doesn't walk very well. And he tells Jack Black and them to and Kyle, you stay right there. And he starts to very slowly walk towards them because he wants to beat them up or cut them. But he just tells them to wait and give him a second till he gets over there so he can beat that ass. And of course they leave because duh. But that's Bagheera, okay? Bagheera, she see a dog from a distance. She be like, "You wait right there. I'm gonna be over there in 5 minutes. I'm gonna very slowly hop my way over there. I'm gonna fuck you up when I get there." That's Bagheera's whole energy. Like she don't care that she's old. Bagheera will still come out here and try to give dogs wreck. It is remarkable. It's remarkable. She's something else. Pretty ridiculous, I know. Let me get to the last story. And I'm a little reluctant to even call it a story, but I guess it's a fucking story. It seemed to be a story on Twitter. I was confused. I'm like, why is Tiffany Haddish trending? But Tiffany Haddish was trending, and I couldn't figure out why she was trending. And then I semi figured it out. Will, pop up the tweet with the image if you could. Oh my God, I'm shining. I get these blot papers from Target. That would be some shit I would endorse, by the way, because I don't endorse shit. But Target has these blot papers that do a really good job of sucking up the oil off your face. It does an amazing job of taking the shine out of your skin. If I could have a case of those, I'd be quite happy. So, okay, so there's some layers to this. Okay, so this is what we're looking at on the screen. This is a tweet from Tiffany Haddish. Tiffany Haddish, the actress, comedian, came to prominence in Girls Trip, co-starring alongside of Jada Pinkett, Queen Latifah, and Regina Hall, DC's own. And you know, I thought Tiffany Haddish was kind of funny with a script and and some, some Hollywood shit. I've not yet seen a stand-up of Tiffany where I thought that she was like ha 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 funny. I haven't seen that yet. But that don't mean it exists. I'm trying not to be a hater here. Who just ran us some bucks? What's up, Komet? Appreciate you, baby. Oh, hey, lovely lady. Am I the lovely lady? Very nice. Thank you so much for that. Hi to all the wonderful people in the chat. Thank you. Komet, we appreciate your super chat support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, Tina said I'm lovely. Isn't that nice? That's very nice. Again, Leo, I'm so, I hate being so easily appeased by compliments, you guys. I'm such a sucker. Soon as niggas start complimenting me, I'm like, oh, that's my friend. Did you hear my friend just say how beautiful I was? Oh my gosh, I'm such a sucker. Leos are so too easy to figure out. I'm trying to tell you. Anyway, let me keep going with my story here. So, Tiffany Haddish. Okay, so Tiffany Haddish got a little career thing going, but she kind of stepped in some shit. Was it last year when the video came out that she and her fellow comedian Arius Spears made a decade prior? Where it was a creepy video of them. It's like How to Catch a Pedophile, but it featured these two minors, a young man and a young woman. Well, I think the young man was in the video. I didn't even watch the whole video because I'm like, this is weird. Stemming from that particular video, Tiffany Haddish and Arius Spears were sued, alleging they were sued in civil court, alleging that there had been some grooming going on in the run up to the production of that creepy How to Catch a Pedophile video where Arius Spears was ogling this young child. I mean, it was really disgusting stuff. So Tiffany Haddish has kind of been on the outs, I guess, culturally with everybody because motherfuckers was like, that shit is fucking weird. And when the announcement came out about the sequel to Girls Trip and that Tiffany was going to be part of it, people also were like, Are y'all sure? Cause y'all know what she was accused of. Okay. And then here we go with this tweet coming from Tiffany Haddish. Now, some people have attributed this tweet to she, as though she wrote the caption. She didn't. She, like a lot of people, took the headline from the Los Angeles Times pertaining to actor Jonathan Majors, who has a recent accusation of domestic violence against him. And that says Jonathan Majors accuser, like, so I'm sorry, I can't read, I have reading glasses, but it says the Jonathan Majors accuser is was seen out on the town uninjured, unscratched up, etc. Now, people are wondering, why in the fuck would she even tweet this? Now, to be honest, guys, I have not followed the Jonathan Majors domestic violence scandal that much. Jonathan Majors recently starred in Creed 3. What else was he in, guys? Like, this young man has been on an upswing pertaining to his acting career. I think he's only 33 years old. I didn't the little that I saw about his domestic violence accusation, it wasn't enough for me to, I don't know. I needed more information. Let me put it that way. I definitely believe victims, but I needed more information about the situation. I don't really know that much about it. So I think people took umbrage with Tiffany Haddish that it seems to be like a tweet of support, considering that this domestic violence situation, pardon me, with Jonathan Majors has not yet had a resolution in the court system yet, right? So then all of a sudden it was, did y'all know Tiffany Haddish was a weirdo? Did you know she was a weirdo? And there was an allegation that I saw about Vic Mensa that she allegedly might have sexually assaulted him. And then I saw this clip that now has millions of views, and it's an older interview with Issa Rae. Issa Rae, the creator of the hit HBO series Insecure. And I want you guys to listen to how Issa Rae describes an outing with Tiffany Haddish and some of Issa's Insecure co-stars and Tiffany's behavior, shall we say, towards one of the male stars. So let's take a look at this interview with Issa Rae describing Tiffany Haddish.
Can go other places. And she meets one of our cast members, comes into the door, does a beeline, and is like, hey, I'm Tiffany. Has a champagne glass in her hand and is like, hey, I'm Tiffany. And demonstrates on a champagne glass her skills. And so he's like, oh, okay, that's what's up. And so then throughout the night, she was drinking more. And she sat next to him and got in his face and was just like, you look like a nigga that likes to get slapped. I'ma slap you. And he was like, well, actually, I don't. I don't like to get slapped. And she was like, yes, you do. I'ma slap you right now. You a cub. And just continued to berate him.
You guys, now listen, okay? There's a lot to be said about the ways in which gender and sex and power play out in society generally, but then in Hollywood, Hollywood's not a real place. The shit that applies in the regular world does not apply in Hollywood, and this, that, and the third. And it sounds as though, to me, as though Tiffany Haddish might have a bit of a substance abuse problem, in addition to, and I don't even necessarily call her being sexually forward a problem, but if you are perhaps doing some unwanted touching, some open propositioning to a person, a man even, and he's not reciprocating that vibe, I mean, isn't that harassment? Like, wouldn't we call that harassment if a man was doing the same sort of behavior to a woman that they didn't know? Or even if they did know him, but it doesn't sound as though Tiffany was acquainted with this male actor before she started really putting that press on him. And it was a number of similarly stories coming out surrounding Tiffany Haddish. And I'm of a number of minds about this. Um, I think it's important as women that we call out when women are not meeting the standard, okay? And I mean, and by standard, I mean standard of decency, of human decency, not some put on, gendered moralistic behavior. Oh, she needs to, as a lady, she needs to be behaving like that. No, 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 no. I'm not on none of that shit, okay? But she does not sound as though she's behaving like a decent person. If she's coming on to people in such a way, in such a strong forward way that she's making them uncomfortable, and obviously her put-ons are not being reciprocated. Okay, you're doing too much there, girl. Um, on the other hand, I feel as though when Black women do not conform to a particular standard of behavior, they are and their behaviors are really magnified and scrutinized and picked apart. And I think absent of the grooming allegation against Tiffany Haddish and Arius Spears, I would probably feel that way. But the girl is a habitual line stepper. And I'm trying to figure out, like, I'm actually kind of puzzled as to how she was able to be so successful in Hollywood. It seems like it did take Tiffany a while to reach mainstream success, but usually obnoxious Black women are not tolerated. You feel me? Like women with no filter, Black women, I'm talking about Black women specifically. I don't know how it works for white women, but Black women with no filter, Black women um who, I don't know. It's just there's usually a certain type. And maybe she is a good bootlicker and I just don't know it. You know what I'm saying? Like there could be a lot here that is still unseen to the public. But it's just interesting to me that Tiffany specifically seems to get people's heckles up. Um, in a way, absent of the grooming allegations, I would not feel as though it's deserved. But when you throw the grooming allegations in there, and I'm like, yeah, I think maybe we actually do need to look at sis a little, a little bit with a little bit more scrutiny here, because it's beyond problematic. It's the kind of behavior that, were the gender roles reversed, were she a man and she were doing this and behaving this way, there would be a lot of people calling for like a Me Too movement towards her, were she a him. Okay, but she is not a him, she is a she. And maybe she's given a level, I can't even say a protection, because Black women are usually not protected in this way. So I mean, I'm really having a hard time trying to figure out what it is that I'm seeing here with Tiffany Haddish. How she seemingly continues to climb despite being very problematic. And then there was another of other anecdotal stories that was floating around Twitter that I obviously cannot confirm, so I won't even bother to repeat them here, because once the dog piling on begins, usually motherfuckers start getting creative and making up shit about people, and it's hard to tell the real from the fake. But what is very clear here, I think Tiffany has a substance abuse problem, seriously, because I know a lot of alcoholics and I've known people with cocaine problems. And her behavior reminds me of both of them. It reminds me of an alcoholic who likes to snort coke, and they will be over extroverted and very brash and extremely inappropriate and not have any sort of self-awareness. And I get that from her. I followed Olayemi Olarine on social media, and she said that she read Tiffany's memoir and that Tiffany herself was a survivor of abuse and ended up in a marriage with her abuser. But like Oprah said, Lord have mercy, like Oprah said, hurt people do hurt people. Just because she herself was a victim of abuse does not mean that she is incapable of being an abuser herself. In fact, it kind of means the opposite. You know, if you experience abuse, you are more likely, I think, to perpetuate abuse in some way. And I think that's what we're seeing here from Tiffany. I feel as though there needs to be some sort of accountability reckoning here. And I think Black social media, particularly the demographic of Black Twitter, can do a pretty good job of collecting motherfuckers, of getting motherfuckers together. At least, e- even if they don't come out and do like public apologies, et cetera, the way they move henceforth is a bit different. They're a little bit more mindful about the way that they conduct themselves and the things that they say and do. But I think Tiffany having the specter of groomer slash abuser over her head, coming out with this tweet in support of a person who is also themselves accused of some sort of abuse allegation, it didn't sit well with folks. But I think ultimately Tiffany got what she wanted, and she got the attention that she definitely, desperately must have been looking for, because people have been definitely trying to put her on the cancel culture train. Like, cancel this bitch immediately because she was doing weird shit or encouraging weird shit in and around children. Like, that, I think that is a perfectly reasonable thing to cancel somebody over. But in true Hollywood fashion, no, no, no. The abusers get to hang around longer and longer. So we'll see if Tiffany's still going to be part of this girls' trip too. I don't see why she wouldn't be, because, I guess she's proven her Hollywood weirdo-ness. She has been initiated as proper Hollywood weirdo. So I suppose all the Hollywood weirdos look out for their own. But I just wanted to point out, I don't know what the fuck's going on with Tiffany Haddish, but truly, I really do think that she has some sort of substance abuse issue going on, and that's probably not helping her judgment as of late, or even as of way before. Who knows? Who knows? But anyway, guys, that is my program. In the comments, if y'all decide to comment, I'm thinking of us taking like a month off, seriously, and I don't mean like a Marcus and Mondale month, and that's not it. Is the Marcus and Mondale? But I know Marcus and Mondale had told y'all they was taking a break and they be back, and them niggas never came back. So I want to assure you all that it won't be that, okay? like we will take a break, but we will be the fuck back, because I like it here. I like the Fire Fam. I love everybody. So what do y'all think? March, fucking March, Jesus. It's to go to show you how much I do need a break. May, June, or July. So I will let y'all vote. Y'all can vote. Maybe I'll put a poll up. Oh, maybe I'll put a poll up. I keep forgetting I can do that on the community section. I'll put a poll up and you guys can vote. Thank you. Who said you deserve Franny French? Thank you. I appreciate you recognizing, baby girl. I appreciate it. So yeah, I need to double check in with Will and Molly. We're gonna put it to a vote. Obviously, you guys know Will is teaching school and Molly has a school-age child. So I can imagine that after the school year concludes, Will and Molly probably will be down for a break as well. So I just wanted to kind of put that on y'all's radar. I'm not just going to disappear and not say nothings. But I just wanted to put that on your radar. What's up, Lady Alex? Thank you so much for you being here as well. Thank you so much for your support. My bruv, yeah, now you know I don't shout you out because I cannot pronounce your fucking screen name, but I know you be on BPM. And I just can't pronounce that shit. Ignobriania. Listen, if you want me to shout out your screen name, you got to make it phonetically friendly for me. God damn it. I appreciate you showing up. I appreciate your consistency. I appreciate you being in the chat. I appreciate. I haven't shouted you out because I can't pronounce that shit. So don't take it personal. Okay. That's it. Project Dystopia, thank you so much. Latif, love you so much. Courtney, Yipper99, what's up? Shelty, what's up? Hey, real quick, I'm gonna let y'all go. But it's all right, two questions. Well, one question. Do we have any Incubus fans in here? Any Incubus fans? Because Incubus has announced all their summer tour dates. And I'm a little disappointed because they are not coming to Baltimore or DC area proper. The closest they're coming is Ocean City, Maryland, for a festival at the end of the fucking summer where it's I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. I will go see Incubus. I cannot go to a fucking festival when it's going to be John Mayer and acts that I generally don't hate, but I know the crowd that they're going to bring out, and I don't want to kick it with them folks. I don't want to be in there with John Mayer fans. Okay, I do not want to be in there. I don't want to be in there. So anyway, I'm not going to see Incubus in Ocean City. So the closest Incubus is coming to where I is. And Donnie, if you're in here, pay attention. Incubus is going to Asbury Park, New Jersey. They're playing the Stone Pony. Okay. That's August. July, they are going to be late July. They're going to be around my birthday. They're going to be in Indianapolis and Chicago. Now, I have gone to Chicago to see Incubus before. Like I will travel as best as I'm able to go see Incubus. So all I want to know is who's coming with me? Who's coming to Jersey to go see Incubus, or who gonna meet me in Chicago so I can go see Incubus? I can't go to Naptown, Shirley. I'm sorry. I don't know what's in Indianapolis. At least I know what to expect in Chicago. I don't know nothing about Naptown. I don't know nothing about Indianapolis. But Chicago? Shit. I love Chicago in the summertime. James, put your tank top on, James. You taking me to the Incubus concert. You taking me to the Incubus concert, James, with your tank top. Please and thank you. So anyway, I just want to throw that out there. I'm gonna check the I'm gonna check that. Come to Minneapolis. Alicia, let me double check and see where they're going to be, because something tells me that they're not coming to Minneapolis proper. I don't know if it's St. Paul. I don't know where the fuck it is. I gotta look. I gotta recheck the schedule. The schedule. But anyway, go where? Who coming to be to Chicago? You go to Chicago, Alicia? Ah! I love Chicago. Oh my God. Guys, seriously, if you've not been to Chicago in the summertime, it is the best city in America. It's the best city in America. May, June, July, nothing is fucking with Chicago. I'm trying to tell you, it is a wonderful place. Oh my God, I love Chicago in the summer. Oh, it's so perfect. And as soon as September hits, I got to get the fuck out of town because it's going to snow. It's going to start snowing in Labor Day. So you got to leave. But May, June, July, shit. Or actually more like June, July, August. I'm bugging because May it still be cold in Chicago in May sometimes. But anyway, put Incubus on your calendar, all my Incubus fans, and maybe we can do some meetups and y'all can walk me around. If you guys can walk me around the Incubus show, I would greatly appreciate it. Please and thank you. So anyway, guys, on behalf of Will and Male, we out. We will see y'all back here next Tuesday. Big up to all the remixers and everyone who showed up to celebrate the 2-year anniversary of the Remix Morning Show on Black Power Media. Very appreciative that you all have been supporting BPM and Burn It Down with Kim Brown for as long as you have been. So I just wanted to thank you guys so much for that. So we'll see y'all back here on Tuesday. I think that's it. Okay. Y'all have a good one. Have a good, safe weekend. Be aware of severe weather in your area, please and thank you. I don't know what else to tell y'all to be looking out for. Anyway, just be careful and shit. It's dangerous out here. It's America. It's fucking crazy. So anyway, see y'all later. Bye-bye. Have a great weekend, everybody. Love y'all.